Hey y'all, it's Ryan here from Actually Used. Today, we're diving into a head-to-head matchup between two very different pool cleaners, the Aiper Scuba X1 and the Dolphin Premier. They both aim to tackle the same job, keeping your pool clean, but they go about it in totally different ways. Both models come in around the $1,000 mark, but there is one big thing that separates them. One's cordless, the other's corded. After putting them both to test in my neighbor's pool, I found that going cordless isn't the move. The Dolphin Premier wins when it comes to suction, power, filtration, and overall experience. Let me break down why. Price and value. Are you paying more for less? At first glance, the Aiper Scuba X1 looks like a solid deal at just over $1,000, but that price only makes sense if it delivers top-tier performance. In real-world testing, the Scuba X1 doesn't make the cut. On the flip side, the Dolphin Premier costs a couple hundred more, but you're getting a commercial-grade cleaner from a brand with a proven track record. If you're ready to drop $1,000 on a pool robot, you want something that actually works. And well, that's where the Premier justifies its price tag. From commercial-grade motors, weekly smart timer, multimedia, nano filters, and standard filters, you get a lot more bang for your buck. We'll dive more into the performance next. But who is the winner for value? The Dolphin Premier. It justifies its higher costs with better filters, commercial grade motors, and true automation with a weekly smart timer. Suction power, the real cleaning test. Suction power is the heart of any pool robot. It's where you separate the pretenders from the contenders. A flashy design or slick marketing doesn't matter if the cleaner can't actually pull debris off the floor and walls. To find out what these machines were capable of, I hooked up to a manometer, a tool that measures suction pressure underwater. It's the same method used by pros to test pump strength, and it gives you a clear, measurable picture of their vacuuming power. The Aiper Scuba X1 barely hit 1 PSI, which honestly surprised me considering how much its marketing emphasizes high flow rates. But advertised flow rate and real-world suction power aren't the same thing. A wide hose might move a lot of water. It's not going to be able to pick up heavy debris load in your pool. Then came the Dolphin Premier. It clocked in at just over 2 PSI of suction power, nearly double the Scuba X1. And that extra power shows up fast. The Premier has no trouble pulling in large leaves, small twigs, and gritty sediment. If you're investing this kind of money into a pool robot, it needs to replace manual cleaning, not add to it. In terms of raw suction and real-world cleaning performance, there's a clear winner. Dolphin Premier. Superior suction means a cleaner pool and less work. Automation. Daily chore or true hands-off convenience? Cordless pool cleaners sound convenient until you realize you have to charge the battery every single time before using them. Take the Aiper Scuba X1. It runs for about 3 hours, then just sits there at the bottom of your pool like a stranded fish. You have to grab the retrieval hook, pull it out, plug it into the charger, wait 4 hours, then drop it back into the pool and repeat every single time. At first you might think, that's not so bad. But after using Aiper for a week, trust me, it's a pain. Picture this, you check on your pool in the first thing in the morning, fish out the robot, plug it in, wait a few hours, then toss it back in, only to do it all over again the next day. That's 14 separate interactions a week just to keep your pool clean. Compare that to the Dolphin Premier, where you set it once and don't think about it again for days. And if you're like me, you probably don't love the idea of leaving the Aiper charging unattended, especially not after hearing the safety recalls on other Aiper models. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission recently recalled over 35,000 Aiper Seagull Pros due to fire and burn risk. There have been 19 reports of the robot smoking, melting, or catching on fire, 5 of which cause property damage. And that's after another recall of 22,000 Aiper Elite Pros back in August of 2023. It's all because of the lithium-ion battery inside of a cordless pool robots. This is a risk you don't have with corded units like the Dolphin Premier. The Premier plugs into a wall outlet and runs on a smart, programmable weekly timer. No charging cycles, no waiting around, and no need to babysit the thing. You set it in once and just goes to work, day after day like clockwork. If what you want is true hands-off convenience, the Premier wipes the floor with the X1. No charging, no retrieval, No fire hazards, just reliable, fully automated cleaning. The winner? Dolphin Premier. No battery to babysit, no daily hassle. Pool coverage, floors, walls, and waterline. Both the Aiper Scuba X1 and Dolphin Premier are designed to clean the entire pool. They both are capable of reaching every part of the pool, and neither left major areas untouched during testing. But the Dolphin Premier stands out thanks to its dual stabilizer setup, which helps it cling to walls more effectively. It climbs higher with better control and doesn't slide down or get thrown off by slippery surfaces. The X1 does an okay job on the walls, but it wasn't as impressive in my testing. The winner? Dolphin Premier. Both offer full coverage, but the Premier's stability and grip gives it its edge, especially when it comes to wall and waterline cleaning. Filtration. Who actually keeps your pool clean? Filtration might be the most important part of a pool robot, after suction. So what's the big difference? The Aiper Scuba X1 uses a basic filter basket with a dual layer design, an outer mesh, and an inner fine screen. It sounds good on paper, but in practice, it still seemed to struggle with fine debris. It handled larger leaves and bugs without any issue, but anything smaller, like dust, pollen, or fine silt, may get left behind. The Dolphin Premier takes a different approach with its multimedia filtration system, and after testing both, we preferred it. Instead of relying on a single dual layer setup, the Premier lets you swap between different types of filters depending on the job. You can run nano filters for ultra-fine debris. These filters are very similar to full-size pool filters. You also get standard cartridges for everyday cleaning, or an oversized leaf bag for heavy-duty cleanup leaves. You can even choose disposable bags for messy cleanups, and avoid cleaning altogether. It's the only pool robot on the market with the multimedia option, and we loved it. The flexibility made a big difference. Whether we were dealing with spring pollen, small debris, or large leaf bags, the Premier delivered better results. So why do nano filters matter? Because they trap the tiny stuff you don't always see, but you definitely feel. Fine particles can leave your water looking hazy or dull. The nano filters are pleated and dense, more like a true cartridge filter. In our side-by-side testing, they pulled noticeably more fine debris than Aiper's layered mesh. The difference, water clarity and polish, was obvious after just one cycle. And finally, the cleaning path. The Dolphin Premier uses 2 suction ports, each 4 3/4 inches long, for a total effective cleaning width of 9.5 inches. The Aiper Scuba X1 has a single intake measuring 7 3/4 inches. That wider track on the Premier means it covers more surface area with each pass, leading to faster, more efficient cleanings. The winner? Dolphin Premier. Its multimedia system isn't just different, it's smarter, more useful, and more effective. Smart features and app control. On paper, the Scuba X1's app seems great. You can set what mode you want and adjust settings, but there's a major flaw. The moment it dives underwater, the connection drops. Want to switch modes mid-clean? Too bad. Need to redirect it to a missed spot? Not happening. The app becomes a flashy interface for a robot you can actually talk to while it's doing its job. While the Aiper claims you'll be able to control it when the new Aiper Hypercom comes out for $500 later on this year, it still isn't out yet. The Dolphin Premier is a lot different in that it doesn't rely on apps. It skips the app entirely in favor of a built-in weekly timer with the good old-fashioned buttons on the power supply. It just works. Every day, same time, no drop connections, no nonsense. True to form, it's a commercial-grade cleaner built to do one thing: clean. If you want a real-time app control that stays connected underwater, you'd have to look at something like the Dolphin Sigma. Between these two, the Premier may be simpler, but it's better priced and reliable. And when it comes to pool cleaning, that counts for more. Winner, Aiper Scuba X1 by default, since the Premier doesn't have an app. Why the cord debate actually matters. Everything cordless these days. Your phone, your headphones, your Roomba, it's easy to assume cordless is better for robotic pool cleaners too. But just because it works for gadgets doesn't mean it's the right call for cleaning your pool. Cordless might be a perfect match for a home vacuum or a drill, but with the pool robot, you're giving up consistent, uninterrupted power for the limitations of battery. The Aiper Scuba X1 is a perfect example. Weaker suction, daily charging hassles, and lingering concerns about lithium-ion battery safety. It ends up being more of a headache than help. The Dolphin Premier, on the other hand, is corded, and that's a good thing. It never runs out of power, never needs to recharge, and never leaves you wondering, if it's done the job. Sometimes the simplest solution really is the smartest one. Final verdict, which one should you buy? Let's boil it down by category so you can see exactly who wins where. Feature winner, price and value, Dolphin Premier. Suction power, Dolphin Premier. Automation, Dolphin Premier. Pool coverage, Dolphin Premier. Filtration, Dolphin Premier. App, Aiper Scuba X1. When it comes to overall value, the Dolphin Premier takes the win. It costs a bit more, but you're getting a lot more for the price. Stronger performance, better build, and less daily hassle. In terms of suction power, it's not even close. The Premier pulls harder and cleans more thoroughly in a single pass. For automation, again, the Premier easily wins. Just set the weekly smart timer and forget it. It takes care of the pool without the daily hassle. When looking at pool coverage, the Premier felt more consistent and thorough, especially on walls and on the waterline. It just cleans better and misses less. As for filtration, the Premier's multimedia system with nano filters easily outperforms Aiper's basic mesh. The water looks more polished and feels cleaner. Now, the only area where the Aiper Scuba X1 wins is the app. It has a scheduling app, but you can't schedule it and run it for more than one cycle. So this doesn't provide much value. You can do manual steering, even though it doesn't always stay connected underwater. On paper, it's the connect to robot, but in real world use, the Premier is the one that actually delivers. Overall winner, Dolphin Premier. If you're looking for a pool cleaner that actually makes life easier, the Dolphin Premier is the clear standout. With a stronger suction, smarter filtration, and fully automated pool cleaning, it just works. The best part is the consistent corded power, no daily recharging. The Aiper Scuba X1 looks sleek and sounds impressive in marketing. The reality is it takes about 2 days to figure out you're dealing with a weaker suction, a smaller filter basket, and a robot that demands constant hands-on attention. The best pool robot is the one that you don't have to think about. It works in the background. The Scuba X1 grabs your attention with its flashy marketing and cordless design, but ends up demanding way too much of your time. The Dolphin Premier, on the other hand, just gets the job done, day in and day out, like a reliable pro. I'm Ryan with Actually Used. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in the next review.